In this video, Isha Brahmachari Swami Kevala shares his experience of the 2021 Sacred Walks Kailash Darshan with Sadhguru.
Before I left the ashram, I was asked if I would write an article about my yet-to-happen experience of the Kailash Darshan. I had readily agreed, but upon my returning several days ago, I found myself staring at a blank page, not knowing what to write. For as I looked into my heart and my mind, attempting to grasp something of those ungraspable 2 weeks, I knew something truly significant had happened, but I was unable to make any sense of it. There were 30 participants and 15 volunteers coming from different parts of the world, including Russia, Ukraine, Germany, UK, US, Canada, Czech Republic, Iran, Lebanon, Nepal, and India. My responsibilities included taking care of the audio arrangements for the satsangs with Sadhguru, as well as being a part of the music team. I also had to learn to play the drum for waking people up in the mornings, and for making them dance in the evenings. Accompanied by a hardy crew of Sherpas, we spent over a week trekking and driving through the Nepalese mountains. We traveled through some of the most strikingly beautiful terrain I have ever seen. This landscape, lacking all but the sparsest vegetation, possessed a different kind of beauty, raw, rugged, and immense. You could feel the elemental life force emanating from the rocks, streams, and the very air. And the local Nepalese tribal people had acquired the same kind of features as the surrounding nature. I remember being struck by their demeanor when Sadhguru once stopped to photograph a small group of them. Men and women with weather-beaten but vibrantly alive faces, simple and unassuming, but exuding a deep sense of equanimity, unaware, I supposed, of whose lens they were privileged to be under at that moment. As the trek progressed, people began to drop their limitations. They became at ease with the most basic of facilities, and neither cold nor rain could dampen their spirits. Having left the last traces of civilization behind us, I could feel a sense of joy and abandon pervade the group as we moved onward into the mountains. As Sadhguru's presence enveloped us, a certain bond began to grow between us all. Gradually, I found myself connecting so deeply with this blessed group of people who had somehow found themselves on this journey. They were seeking something, but they didn't know what. Many of them had reached the peak of success in their fields, but had realized there was still something fundamental missing from their lives. They seemed to universally recognize that Sadhguru was a living possibility to approach that dimension. Their thirst to know rekindled something within me, something that I had felt so strongly when I first came to the ashram as a 24-year-old, and that maybe had gradually subsided over the years. When we eventually reached the viewpoint where we would be able to have the Darshan of Mount Kailash, Sadhguru immediately started the initiation process. The sky was initially cloudy, and as Sadhguru sat and gazed into the distance, the clouds slowly parted to reveal Mount Kailash. But just as suddenly as the darshan had happened, Sadhguru announced that a weather situation was afoot, and we needed to immediately move inside the satsang tent to continue the process. Snowflakes drifted before my eyes as Sadhguru completed the initiation process. While the original plan was to be at the viewpoint for just 3 hours due to the adverse weather conditions, Sadhguru said that we would all need to spend the night here. The temperatures were sub-zero, and we were without most of our tents. Everyone was asked to squeeze into the satsang tent for the night, and we huddled together, everyone sitting on the common bedding to share a cozy dinner. At this point, both in terms of comfort and comradeship, we had become like a group of close school friends having the adventure of a lifetime. At around 3:30 a.m., I awoke to the sound of chanting. I came out of the tent. The mist was so thick it was difficult to see very far ahead. But I could see a light coming from Sadhguru's tent, and I heard him loudly chanting, Shivanage Bandhana Yogeshwara Shivanage Bandhana As I stood on the mountain at that sacred hour, listening to the Kannada words floating through the mist, I felt enormously privileged to be in that space. Having been a brahmachari for 17 years, it was my first opportunity to volunteer on the Kailash Sacred Walks. Years ago, I had sometimes wondered, when would my time come? But I had settled the matter within myself by saying, Shiva, when I'm ready, then only you should call me. Otherwise, it may be wasted upon me. So when I was asked to come, I was not so much excited. Rather, I was a little taken aback. Was I ready now? Well, I cannot answer that, but I can say for sure that the journey was not wasted on me. After returning to the ashram, I was talking to another Swami as we were about to head back to the Sangha to retire for the night. "You're glowing after coming back from Kailash," he remarked. I was happy that he thought so, but I was not able to see it so clearly myself, although I could feel something was different within me. "It's funny," I said. "These past 2 weeks, I don't know how much sadhana I managed to do, and I'm even wondering if I had the Darshan of Kailash properly, as it was so far in the distance, and I was more focused on trying to make the audio system work." Then he laughed. Instead of his own experience, it's in those moments when we are not there, that's when he jumps in and fills the space. Then, at last, something seemed to make sense to me.
Coming together to consciously lose ourselves, if not entirely, at least a part, is not about building bonds. It is about stepping into the beyond. That's what a pilgrimage is. When being engaged with the limitations of life becomes tedious, then wanting to step into the beyond becomes a strong need. Otherwise, nothing wrong with anything, just that it's limited, that's all. Some realize it's limited early on, some realize upon their deathbed. But nobody in this life will go unrealized. Those who realize early are fortunate, because they can do something about it. Well, next time, the possibilities that you carry now will not be there, that's all. You may come in so many ways, you may not come, we don't know. Even if you come as another human being, will life fall together to allow this for you again? It's a 1 in a trillion chance. Spiritual process means it's about moving this individual being from bondage to beyond. Mysticism means you want to explore the beyond. Is this possible? Well, I will not answer that question, because essentially you are asking me, I'm a bloody fool who's wasting his life doing something that doesn't exist. I will not answer that question. It's well beneath my dignity to say anything about it. Maybe I don't care a damn about you. I will not invest my life in something that doesn't work. That much is very clear to me. Hello? So pilgrimage means you're on, moving in your life, not settling. You're moving, all the time moving. From this day to the next day, you have moved always. If for one day you became stagnant, stagnation stinks always. So let this pilgrimage become a source of aliveness, and that's only possible when you make space for everything. Kailash Darshan means just this, to bring a small doorway, which is for the beyond.
Shiva Shambho Shambho Shiva Shambho Shambho Shiva Shambho